Would you like to understand what the effects of a mother complex are on a daughter? Then listen to this entire video where I go through the first 2 effects out of 4 which can occur in the psyche of a daughter in relationship to her mother. Now, before we get into this, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, archetypes, the human psyche, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. Now, the mother complex is a consequence of a subdued or unhealthily developed mother archetype. Now, an archetype is a content of your collective unconscious, which is a subsection of your psyche, which is unconscious, and it's a section that is present in all humans across the universe, at least Earth, let's say. And everybody shares it, and there are these similar structures like a mother archetype, a father archetype, a shadow archetype. There's many different ones, and today we're going to look at the mother archetype and what effects it has. Now, if a mother archetype is not developed healthily, but, for example, subdued, sort of suppressed, it can result in disturbances in the psyche, which can lead to neuroses, and I believe one of these is the mother complex. And the mother complex can have 4 different effects upon a daughter, sort of how it manifests itself, if the mother archetype is not nurtured healthily. Let's get into it. So, the effect number 1, which is called by Carl Jung, the psychoanalyst, he calls it hypertrophy of the maternal element. Now, these 2 reasons, these 2 effects are from the book Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, which is written by Carl Jung. So if you'd like to look at it, I can recommend reading the book. Now, so hypertrophy of the maternal element entails the following. It's essentially when the daughter exaggerates her feminine side and her feminine instincts intensify, specifically the maternal instinct. And sort of the outcome of that, sort of the negative outcome would be, let's say, that a woman or a daughter's only goal in life or main goal is just to have kids. That's like her purpose. That's why the maternal instinct is intensified and exaggerated. Now, if we describe sort of what goes around the daughter, so around this woman who suffers from a mother complex, for example, her husband is simply a means, an instrument used to recreate, to procreate and have kids. He is simply like a means to an end, and her goal in life is to get kids, and her own personality, herself, is of sort of secondary priority. She, in that sense, one could maybe say she's selfless towards her children, but not truthfully selfless, because if her purpose is to have children, she doesn't want to let go of the children, because that is all she has then. And she develops an unhealthy sort of overprotection to a degree and attachment to the kids, and she behaves then in a way that is beneficial to herself and not really for the kids. She clings on to them, and she doesn't have her own sort of existence. Her existence lives through the kids. And her sort of love channel, the way she sort of expresses love, is only through the maternal channel, so towards her kids. So her husband will be treated as a second priority, or sort of secondary importance. So here, in the hypertrophy of the maternal element, is simply that the woman, as an effect of the mother complex, only focuses on children and assumes that is her only goal and only acts out that as her goal. The second effect of a mother complex can be the overdevelopment of Eros. Now, Eros in this aspect is a term Carl Jung uses, I think, to define sort of the love, the passion, the sort of sensual desires a person might have. Now, in an overdevelopment of the Eros, the woman develops an exaggerated sensual attitude, and this can manifest itself as sort of an unconscious incestuous relationship with her father, and this is sort of connected to a type of jealousy that she has of her mother, and she tries to get in between her mother and her father and get her father and sort of split her mother from the father. She's jealous of the mother and tries to sort of remove her from the picture, and this sort of love for the father, unconscious love for the father, develops. And it's always, the overdevelopment of the Eros is always focused on the personality of other people, not really of herself. And Carl Jung says a woman of this type loves romantic and sensual episodes for their own sake. And she's interested in married men, not necessarily for who they are as a person, the man, but for the fact that they are married. And this gives her the opportunity to destroy a relationship, a marriage, and that is the whole incentive, the whole reason for her maneuver to ruin the marriage. That's the objective. And once she achieves this, ruins the marriage, she goes and finds someone else then, because she can't stick around. She has no maternal instinct, really, that is sort of suppressed, so she doesn't really know how to raise a family, let's say, or children, so that she then goes and finds somebody else whose marriage she can ruin. And these sort of women suffering from an overdevelopment of the Eros are characterized by a low level of consciousness. They're not aware of what they're doing, these endeavors, these disastrous endeavors. And she tries to find victims who she can sort of take advantage of and whose life she can ruin, let's say. And in conclusion, if we look at these two consequences of a mother complex, it is sort of seen as that on the one side, her maternal instincts are exaggerated, and on the other side, they are not, but a sort of desire for sensual endeavors, it bursts and controls her in a undesirable, disastrous way, because her goal is just to ruin someone else's relationship, and that's both obviously very undesirable traits. So that was the conclusion of this video, sort of two of the effects of how a mother complex can manifest itself, or the effects of it can manifest itself. I will do another video where I explain the other two. The other two, for example, I'll give a little teaser, is when the maternal instinct is completely suppressed and the woman has no sort of personal consciousness or personality, or the last effect of the mother complex is where she is completely resistant to the mother and wants to split from the mother completely and doesn't want anything to do with the mother and rejects the mother completely. Yeah, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about these archetypes, these complexes, dating, self-development, and how to reduce suffering in life. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for listening.